Alright, talking about QR code. What is a QR code? QR code is just a square matrix of smaller squares. You can have email, you can have vCard, you can have images, but smaller images because of the limitation of QR code, which we are going to talk about. You can have a URL, we can have a geolocation, which is represented in a URL that can be sent away to certain certain URL which handles the location of location data. So we're gonna talk about generating QR code and what is QR code made of. So QR code can store numerical, alphabetic, can store bytes, and I don't know about this kanji, but it's available here. And I recommend reading this java.com generated /QR /code/in/java because it's really important to understand how can QR code briefly, not very in depth. So I'm gonna say, how does a QR code? Like I said, it's just a square matrix of smaller data. Starts from the bottom right. Starts from the bottom right corner and moves upward direction, and it changes position while it reaches top. So now we have starting at bottom right. Yep, we go to the top here. Then it changes direction to the left. Then it reaches to the end. Then it changes direction, goes all the way to the bottom. Then it goes backward to the alignment pattern. And when it reaches the alignment pattern, then it's done. So after scanning, it processes a QR code using Reed-Solomon error correction until the image is interpreted. After that, the data is extracted from the pattern that is stored in horizontal and vertical component. So these are components which are being used in the QR. They are mainly two: function and encoding region. Position and look. First, we have this quiet zone. This quiet zone is just the area between the outer borders and inner borders, and the inner borders are these kind of edges starting from this position pattern of the red color. This red color is a position pattern, it's the border of the QR code itself. Format information is this yellow part. This yellow part represents the type of information stored in a QR code, whether it's type, it's string, it's text, it's URL, whatever it is. And we have the separator between the position and the format, so they don't mix together. For the timing pattern, it is said here it represents the position of row and column, and I'm not really sure what's its reason for using timing pattern, but anyway. And version information is being represented in this area and this area. What is the version? We have a lot of versions of QR codes, and the QR code is part of barcode scanning. Like, so you can say QR code is a type of barcode scanning, and QR code has a couple of types. So I'm not 100% sure what are all of them, but there are types of QR codes. So now we're done with the version controlling. And what is the alignment pattern? If you try to rotate this QR code 90 degrees, you would find everything we have talked about rotated 90 degrees. So this alignment pattern is responsible for the alignment. It is starting point. It starts from this position, go up, then left, then bottom, then back to the alignment position. So this alignment is really a reference point for starting. So if you rotate it, it will work the same. And if you want to read more about the QR code and what are components, a part of component and description, you can read more. It's really helpful to understand. By the way, format information also include level of error corrections, and we have 4 levels: low, medium, quartile, and high. And as long as you have lower level error correction level, that's better QR code you have. So you're trying to reach for the lowest possible. And this one is just an example of 7%, error correction, and this is just example. I'm not 100% sure how can a human being identify as this as a failed QR code or not. Alright, so what are the data that can be stored in QR code? It depends on three factors: that type and version and error type. Like I said, QR code has multiple types, and now we have like 40 different sizes of QR code. I don't know all of those 40s, so I'm just gonna say it's dependent on the version, and that type is input. Like if you're storing number, it's different than storing character. And if you went up there, actually not up there, it's bottom here. If you're gonna store numerical value, then you can store up to 7,889 numerical value, which are represented as this one. If you want to store alphabetical, which is just characters along with numbers, along dashes, slashes, any character, then you will need to store at most 4,296. And if you want to store directly binary, then you're going to store like 29, and this is a bit per character. So we have 8 bits, and I don't even know how can I pronounce this one. 31 bits per 3 char, so I'm not sure which how much a char costs, and this is for Japanese language, so if you're Japanese, I don't know what this means. Right, so this is basically it. How can a QR code, and this is just article explaining how can generate QR code using Zixing library, which is Java library, but feel free to read more about it. We're not gonna use Zixing in our app. That's it for what is QR code and how can we read a QR code. Hope you benefit something, and see you